obviously 1980. You were literally parachuted into one of the most famous metal bands of all time, Black Sabbath, mid-tour when Bill Ward decided to leave. I mean, talk me through that. How did you get that gig? How did you get the call?
Well, even before that, right before Sabbath, I got a call from Sharon Osbourne, and they were putting Ozzy's band together. She was trying to get him straightened out, and he's in England and make the first record. And so they called me and said, "Hey, this is Sharon. We're putting a band together. We'll fly you to England, hang out with Ozzy, see how it goes." Oh, whoa! I was 20 years old. I'd never been out of the country except for Canada. And so I asked Carmine, my brother, I said, "Is Ozzy crazy? I mean, should I do this and go all the way over there?" He goes, "Yeah, he's pretty crazy." So I turned it down. I just told her I couldn't do it. And then about a month later, Sabbath calls, and they're in California. They're in Los Angeles. That's where I live. And they said, Bill Ward is missing in action, and we need to finish a tour. You interested? You can come down and meet Tony Iommi tonight. I said, sure, because it was easy. They're right, down the street, actually. So I went and met Tony, and we hit it off really well. He heard an album that I did with my band called Axis, really good band, and he liked it, and he invited me down to rehearsal. So the next day, packed my drums in my '67 Mustang, and went down to rehearsal and played and met Ronnie and met Geezer, Jeff Nichols on keyboards, and we hit it off. It was really good, And the first song we played was Neon Nights, which I heard on the radio. I didn't know it very well, but I knew it kept going, and there was only one stop in the middle. So that was easy to figure out faking it. And that's the first song I played with Ronnie James Dio. And then 40 years later, that was the last song I played with Ronnie.
Oh, really?
It was at Atlantic City, New Jersey with Heaven and Hell. And that was the last song we played together. So that was freaky. So then I'm in the band. And they said, okay. I was in the band until Bill Ward came back.
Okay, yeah.
That's what happened. So we played a little bit, and then they were so happy they found a drummer, they went to the pub. And I'm like, I got 14 songs to learn. I wasn't a big Sabbath fan, so I didn't know these songs that well. So I stayed back, worked with Jeff Nichols, keyboard player, and we worked on the songs. And each day they went to the pub. Luckily, they went less and less, and I had to keep working on the song. We only had 4 days. Then the last day, everybody was nervous. Oh shit, we only got a couple hours of rehearsal left. First gig was Hawaii, Aloha Stadium, 40,000 people. And now they got a new drummer who they never played with another drummer before at that point. So they were nervous. But we got through it. We got through it. The endings were a bit sloppy and long. But as the tour went on, it got tighter and tighter. And then eventually we had to do a song for the movie Heavy Metal. Warner Brothers Records wanted us to do a song. So we're on the Heaven and Hell album tour, 1980. So they had 2 days off. So we went into John Lennon's house. He's passed already. And Ringo owned it, of all places. And I got his room, which is weird. They gave me the key. I go to the door. It's John and Yoko. I didn't go in because he just passed away, and I thought it was weird, stay in the room. I should have went in the room. I wish I did. So that's where we wrote and recorded the Mob Rules song. The Mob Rules, that was the first version of it. And that came out so good. Everybody was happy and crazy. The record company loved it. So that kind of cemented me into, I'm in the band, and Bill Ward doesn't look like he's coming back. So, and then I continued from there.
Incredible. Some incredible sliding doors moments there. If you said yes to Ozzy, then you might not have met up with Ronnie and everything that followed with that as well afterwards. So
yeah,
crazy.
Holy Diver might have been Holy smokes.
Indeed, indeed. Speaking of mob rules, I mean, what was the process behind that then? Obviously, you were part of the band at this point. Tony and Geezer, obviously original members. How much say did Ronnie and yourself have in the songwriting process at this point?
Oh, well, Ronnie had a lot of say in it. He always had a lot of ideas,
Hmm.
and he's writing the lyrics. Geezer's not writing the lyrics now, so he had a lot to say. They all did, you know. And I didn't really say much. I was all ears. I mean, these guys. I'm the new kid on the block. What am I going to say? Whatever ideas I might have said something here and there, but I was cool. And but the songwriting process was really good. I mean, we wrote that song in one day, and started recording it and finished it the next day. That's pretty amazing for that band.
Absolutely. And then after that album, there was the recording of the Live Evil, and then tensions began to creep in, didn't they, between various members and various accusations about Ronnie and maybe yourself altering the live mix and all that sort of weird stuff that went on. I mean, what were your memories around that time when it got messy?
Um, well, it got messy while we were recording the Live Evil stuff on the road. It became we had two limos, Tony and Geezer and Jeff in one, me and Ronnie the other.
Mhm.
It became that kind of thing. They weren't getting along that good. I would jump in either limo. I had no problem with anybody, obviously. I loved everybody. And so that became apparent. And then when we went to mix the album, we were supposed to be mixing in the afternoon, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And Ronnie and I would show up because we live close together. So we'd drive in together. I'd pick Ronnie up, he'd pick me up, or I'd meet him at his house. And we were there, and Tony and Geezer weren't there. So a couple of days of that, we wasted, a bunch of hours each day just sitting there. So Ronnie decided, well, let's try to get some work done. So we never put the vocal up and the drums up. I have no say in this. I just along for the ride. And then in the movie Dio, Dreamers Never Die, they interviewed Tony and Geezer. We don't even remember what happened. That's I was cracking up. Well, I don't know what happened, but you know, things were different back then. So it's crazy.
Yeah, and obviously you must have had a great friendship with Ronnie. So, how difficult was it when he decided to leave and ask you to go with him to form Dio? Then, because obviously it sounds like a difficult thing to choose between Black Sabbath and the name and Geezer and Tony, and then going off to something new with Ronnie.
Well, it wasn't that hard to do because I'm 22 years old. When you're young, you go, "Hey, yeah, I'll try that. I'll try that," and it wasn't like, oh my God, what about my mortgage payment and this and that. It wasn't about that at all. So I just thought we get along so well. This is one of the greatest singers in rock, and we live at the same place. So it was kind of like, let's take a chance. This can't fail with Ronnie at the helm, cannot fail. And so, Tony and Geezer wanted me to stay with them, but they were based in England. So it was kind of an easy decision to go, all right, let's try it, see what happens. And, it seemed to work really, really well, so we got along. And then we got Jimmy Bain and Vivian Campbell in the band. We went to England to listen to different guitar players and stuff. And then it was magic when we played together. We go, wow, this is a good band.
Did Tony and Geezer try and
Then
talk
we
you
made
into
that album.
staying, or was they just kind of resigned to your decision?
Yeah. Yeah, they actually, the management said, Tony Geezer don't personally do that so much. But it was the management said, we'd like you to stay and, But I thought, sounds exciting to do something new and fresh and with somebody I get along with and what an amazing singer. And so, and that's what it was. It was fun. There was no rules. We used to go in at 7 o'clock at Sound City and near where we lived and rehearse and write and record stuff and smoke a lot of pot and They drank. I didn't really drink. And it was a lot of fun. It was more of a fun hangout. We weren't thinking of making a classic record. It was more of a hangout every night, 7 o'clock. And we didn't know. And then this album came out and it went all the way up the charts. We started playing bigger places. And now 40 years later, the album still sells.
Yeah.
It's become a classic cornerstone piece of music for heavy metal and heavy rock.
Yeah. It's still revered to this
So,
day. It's still
plus
mentioned
everybody
with the
was happy.
greatest.
It's a good vibe.
Obviously, like you said, it's still revered to this day, 40 years on, and it's still held up as a classic of the genre and everything else like that. But from the sounds of it, you guys are just kind of having fun and just going along for the ride. And it was almost like you didn't feel that it was as special as it was going to go on to become.
Nah, we were just having fun. Matter of fact, one night we had some riff. We jammed on the riff. And then I said, well, all right, we'll listen to it tomorrow when we come in. Next day we came in, we smoked a couple of joints, so we're all stoned. And we asked Angelo, who was our engineer, put that tape in, let's hear it. It was a cassette, but he put it in upside down, backwards. So it started playing backwards. And we're laughing, going, yeah, you're fucking stoned, blah, blah, blah. And then we listened to the riff, wait a minute, that sounds good. So we learned the riff backwards. That's how crazy and no rules applied. And that's the song called Invisible. There's the riff forward, and the second part is the riff backwards. I don't know which one's which, but that's the way those riffs work. And we put them together and go, this is cool, So we just did crazy shit, And in that song Invisible, Ronnie wanted something that went start the song. Back then there were no computers, so what does that sound like? It sounds like air escaping from a tire. They're going, let's get a tire. And a friend, tire, and I don't think anybody ever mic'd the tire. So we mic'd the tire, go, okay, you ready? And he let the air out a couple of times, and then we wound up, reversing the tape a little bit and put an effect on it. And that's the beginning of that song.
Wow.
So this is like, hey, this is fun. We're having a great time here. Everybody looked forward every night to getting together. And that made a great album.
Incredible stuff. So obviously it's very creative. It's very relaxed and informal in terms of making the music and just letting it go and see where it comes from. But what was Ronnie like as a person then? Was he kind of driven and very headstrong when it comes to making the music and the purpose and the direction of things?
Yeah. He's always driven. That's why back in Live Evil, he didn't want to sit there and waste time. Well, let's do something. So he's always driven, and he wanted to work every day, and always had ideas. He stayed in the room with us. He'd write his lyrics, roll a joint, write lyrics, get up, sing a little bit, And we were a great team. And then Angelo Arcuri, who recorded the record and the 3 or 4 albums after that. So we had our in-house engineer too. So it was all a complete unit. But Ronnie loved making music and writing, and he loved his fans. And he was very happy to have such a great band. Finally, after Rainbow and Sabbath and him having to listen to other people, now he's in control. And he loved the way the band played together. So we all did.
And you guys made some great albums together, but there was a decision, wasn't there, in the early 90s for yourself and Ronnie to go back and join Black Sabbath. I mean, given what happened before, how did all that come about? And was there any trepidation about going back to the band?
Well, Cozy was in the project originally, Cozy Powell.
Yeah.
This was Dehumanizer time. And Cozy fell off a horse and broke his pelvis. And he couldn't play. So they were in the middle, not even the middle, of like beginning 8 stages of doing a new record. So they're sitting there and what do we do? Who do we get? Let's call Vinny. They called me, and and it was taking a long time with Cozy. Ronnie didn't get on with Cozy, and they were spending a lot of money, and it was taking a long time. We did it in Wales. We rehearsed in Wales and recorded there. So I flew over, and I'm easy to work with, fast. And then we started cranking it, you know, boom, boom, boom. Ronnie and I lived in the house together because we get along. You know, I don't, you know, Ronnie was in the house by himself, I think, before. So we were able to, in the matter of a couple of weeks, finish the writing and pre-production and all this stuff. And so that became the Dehumanizer album. And then, okay, album's going to come out. Let's do a tour. So we did a tour at that point after, you know. But that's the time when grunge was coming out. Yeah. So we were more like the old rock dinosaur, you know, Black Sabbath. We're playing smaller places and, you know, but it was a great album. People love that album now, especially in Brazil. They went nuts.
I'm just quickly mentioning Brazil because you're just back from touring there, aren't you? You had a number of dates over there. How was that?
Oh, I got a great band down there, and I've done it 3 times down in South America. And what we play is a lot of stuff from Marlboro's, Dehumanizer, and some old Sabbath, Heaven and Hell, you know, all that, and a little bit of Dio. And they just go crazy. I played 5 shows. They were all pretty much sold out. Smaller places, you know, but packed. And they know all the words. They know all the melodies. They're so passionate about their music. It's incredible. So I had a great time. And, you know, like I said, 40 years later, they just love this stuff. And I did I'm doing them in the States now as well. I did 5 shows a couple of months back. And, you know, as we have time off with Last in Line with Vivian Campbell, I'll be booking these shows. And it's a fun thing for me playing all this old stuff, you know, and it's low stress. We're not trying to sell records. We're not trying to become a big band. It's more of a tribute with me. So I call it like a tribute plus to Black Sabbath, Dio. You know, I'm the plus.
And you mentioned last in line there. It was following the sad passing of Ronnie, wasn't it? The band formed and got together. You guys and members. Talk us through how that came about as well, because obviously yourself and Vivian and everyone involved.
Well, Ronnie passed in 2010, and about 2015, Vivian called up and said, "Hey, I'm in town. I just spoke to Jimmy. You up for a jam?" I said, "Yeah. That'd be fun, you know." So we got together and we jammed and played all the old Dio songs from Holy Diver and Last in Line. And it was a lot of fun. We were cracking up, trying to remember the parts and Viv trying to remember the solos. So it was so much fun. We said, let's do it again next week. So we booked the rehearsal place, and then my friend Andy Freeman, I played with him a long time ago with George Lynch. I called him. I said, "You want to come down and sing? You know some of these songs." He goes, "Absolutely." So he came down, sang with us, and he blew everybody away. And we went, wow, why don't we do some dates? So that's how it came about. Then we did dates, and then our manager at the time, Steve Strange, and he rested in peace, he got us a deal on Frontiers Records, and we did 2 records with them, and now we're on Ear Music and we've been touring in between Def Leppard schedule because Fivs plays with Def Leppard. So that's how that came. It wasn't a money grab like, hey, Ronnie passed away. Let's go out and make some money, you know. So, I mean, Fivs playing with Def Leppard, don't need the money, you know.
Yeah.
So it was just a natural, fun thing. And we're still going. You know?
Oh, brilliant. And is there any dates coming to Europe at all?
Not yet. We hope to get there.
That would be good.
We want to do the festivals, but every time we say that, obviously Def Leppard goes out and does the summer. So we can't do anything in summer. It's kind of frustrating, but what are you going to do?
Oh, what can you do, indeed? Difficult one.
But now I'm doing this, so I'm happy, you know.
Good stuff.
If we can't play, I can go out and do this. We call it Sabbath nights. Knights.
Yep.
Sabbath nights. And when I played here, places were packed and people loved it as well. So, because I'm the only guy now from the original band that's out there, you know. Tony Geezer, no more. Ozzy seems like no more. And I was the only other drummer in the beginning, so, and made some of the albums with them. So I think at the time is perfect now for me that I still want to do this. Go out and play this stuff. People want to hear it.